didn't see you over there. Caught me in the middle of trimming up a few pieces to get the rest of this deck skirting done. I know I promised you guys an episode of Q&A with the Yardbirds, but well, I've got a little bit of chores backed up, and we got to get them done before the snow flies here. So, well, hey, I got it. How about if you follow me around while I do the chores, and we'll get a few of those questions answered. How's that? Good. Grab yourself a cup of coffee, maybe a donut or so, and hey, yeah, don't forget one for me. Boston cream's my favorite, you know that. Anyways, hey, let's get cracking at it and get some work done. Well, I see you found me. Alright guys, I have a feeling it's going to be a little on the windy side. I'm going to put a couple of these boards up and take a look at it and see how it comes out. If it's acceptable, we'll continue. If not, hey, we'll take it inside. Alright, Manland21 asked the age-old question, which came first, the chicken or the egg? And we're going to come up with the answers. We're going right to the horse, well, the chicken's mouth, let's put it that way. So let's get to it, and we'll get to the bottom of this. Well, Buffy, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Hey, Red, can you tell me which came first, the chicken or the egg? Alright, maybe we can get some answers from the egg. Hey, you guys finally caught up with me. You guys stop off at a donut shop somewhere? Well, hey, yeah, we're back doing some wood. Get some more wood in here. We've got a beautiful, beautiful day here. It's starting to get a little breezy. If it gets too breezy, we'll take the questions inside. Well, let's see what we have here. I got my list with me. Let's see. Wallace Vivian wants to know, do we cut our own firewood, and what's our favorite wood to burn? Well, hey, that's a good question, Wallace. We cut our own firewood. It comes from my daughter-in-law's father's place. He processes firewood up there, and yeah, we pick it up there and stack it and season it and whatnot. And my favorite firewood, well, that would have to be a good old red oak or white oak. Takes a couple years to season it, but well, it's great burning wood. You get a lot of BTUs out of it. And speaking of BTUs, I'll tell you what they used to call years ago farmer's wood. A lot of the farmers that used to sell wood, they would keep all the limb wood. That's all the you know, 3 and 4 inch stuff that had a lot of knots and stuff in it and whatnot. They'd keep that for themselves because, you know, hey, they knew a little secret. You want to take a piece of wood that's got a lot of knots in it and whatnot, a hardwood, well, you get a lot more BTUs out of that because that resin in that knot burns. You ever seen in your fire when you're burning wood and stuff, you see these little round areas that the wood's burnt up all around them, but yet you have these little glowing round areas? Well, that's the resin burning last. So remember that when you're getting firewood. Hey, don't be afraid of that limb wood with all the knots and stuff in it because, well, you get a lot of BTUs out of it. Hey, Terry King wants to know, how long do we season our firewood and how much do we burn? Well, hey, that's a good question, Terry. On average, a 1 year seasoning is pretty good, unless you get into red oaks and some of the heavier woods like that, and you might, depending on how much you get it split down, you might have to go 2 seasons, but generally 1 season on most hardwoods. As long as it's split down and properly cut and everything. I mean, if you start leaving wood in big rounds, of course it's not going to dry quite as fast. Well, let's get this wheelbarrow full of wood into the basement here and get on to a few more other chores. Our next question is from Jesse James, another great channel. I'll put his channel URL down in the description below. Hope you guys go over and check him out. He wants to know what our primary heat source is, and I'd have to say wood. We have a wood furnace here. We also have a oil furnace, and they are tied together in the same hot air system. So we burn 4 to 5 cot of wood a year, and well, that pretty much gets us through it. I hope that answers the question, Jesse. All right, let's see what else we got here while I'm sitting down. Buzzsaw wants to know what my background is. Well, the background here is a big old pile of wood. Oh, you probably don't want to know about that background. Hey, I'm from the building field. I'm a general contractor, retired, and kind of one of those guys that are a jack of all trades but a master of none type thing. I ran a small general contracting service and built various different things. So yeah, that's my background. Hey, wow, you guys should have woke me up. I just sat down for a quick little nap, and well, it took me forever to write down all these questions, and I was getting a little tired. All right, Calvin Corner asks, good question here. What kind of editing software do I use? And do I save my ash for garden use? And I think I answered the garden ash earlier. Yeah, we save the ash. I do sift it because we might use something with a little bit of nail in it here and there for kindling and whatnot. We don't let anything go to waste, so I make sure that gets all sifted so we don't get any flat tires on any machinery or anything. But what kind of editing software do I use? I'm not anything fancy, I'll tell you. Once I get stuck using something and I get on it, I'm set in my ways. I use just the regular Movie Maker 10. I know there's a lot of other softwares out there, and I'd really like to learn to use them, and I'm trying to do a little bit better editing and stuff and whatnot. So hopefully, like I say, as the channel grows and it gets a little bit bigger here and there, I will well, get better at editing. I hope that. Here's a question that was in the last session, but I didn't get to it. Valerie Rees wants to know, do I ever go on vacation, and if so, who takes care of the animals? Well, I very rarely go on vacation, but we've got enough family around and friends and neighbors and stuff. There's no problem of taking care of animals because we all make sure everybody is taken care of one way or another. So yeah, they'll get taken care of, and no, I don't do an awful lot of vacations and whatnot. Life in Farmland wanted to know how I mix flocks. You know, this is another long subject, and I do have a video out on this. It doesn't go into real detail about it, but I will be redoing that video and getting into some more questions and answers on the subject. And depending on what flocks you're talking about, if you're talking the same age, different ages, and you got to kind of play it by ear because all birds are different. Generally, if I have two aged flocks like we did this year, I had a flock that came in, a new flock that was about 17 weeks old, and they were young pullets getting ready to lay, and I had the old YardBird crew, which was a little over a year old, and of course they had the established run of the roost, and that's another reason why I built this brand new coop along next to the old coop. And so at the very beginning we kept the two coops separate, divided the run in half, and so on down the road without getting into long details with it. You kept it that way for a while and then slowly opened it up and kept an eye on things, and that's the main thing. There again, your chickens will tell you right off the bat what's going on. If you see a lot of bullying, you know, and it's pretty rough stuff, yeah, you better hold off and not get them mixed right then and there. But you're gonna have some picking on things. That's just a pecking order. That's all there is to it. You just kind of keep an eye on it and go from there. And there's a lot of other things to helping it, helping the new flock come in, and the old flock not being so threatened and whatnot. So hey, like I say, I'll be redoing that video, and we'll get into those that subject a little bit later. But thanks a lot, Eric from Life in the Farmland. Another great channel. I suggest people go over to his channel and view some of his videos and stuff. Let's see. Cabot Bluegill asked, do I ever have predator problems? Generally, I don't have too many problems with predators, although everything likes chicken, including me. But I would say the biggest problem I have as far as losing anything. And in the last 18 months to 2 years, I think I have lost 2 chickens to predators, and both of those were from hawks. And the coop itself and the run is pretty safe. The coop itself, if the chicken's in the coop, there ain't nothing getting to them. I mean, I build a coop that is rugged. It's got plenty of venting, but it's got heavy gauge metal on it. So nothing's getting in the coop. That's all there is to it. Yeah, we have the occasional fox that goes by, but usually if fox have a hard time getting to an animal or something like that, and they're spending a lot of time doing it, they're usually going to move on. They're like anything else. If they're not getting fed, they're going to be moving on to something that's a little easier. And we don't have any problems with foxes, and there's not a big problem with snakes around here like you have down south that maybe will grab a young chick, or actually probably more problems down south with egg problems with snakes and stuff. So other than that, hey, we don't have much of a problem with predators. The Frogman. What's my favorite thing to grow? Well, one of my favorite things to watch grow is my granddaughters. And boy, are they doing some growing. But my favorite thing, I think he's talking about something to eat or to look at or whatnot. I would say strawberries, tomatoes, stuff around that long. Strawberries, I love strawberries. Yeah, I would say strawberries is one of my favorites. Ash Zimba Ketchum wants to know what my favorite animal is. I think we all know what that is. I would have to give it to the old YardBirds. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Alright, Gear Grinding 19 wants to know what my favorite recipe that includes chicken. Well, about any chicken recipe I like. That's one thing I'm not picky about is food. I like everything from the basics all the way up to something fancy. And speaking of food and chicken and whatnot, we'll be doing a few more recipes and stuff like that as we get into winter and things start slowing down a little bit. But I would say anything fried. Any kind of fried chicken, be it just lightly breaded to heavily breaded. I like fried chicken. Thanks there, Gear Grinding. Calvin's Corner wants to know if I use a heating system in the coop. And well, that is a long heated debate of a question. Trust me, there's many views to that subject, and I only have one. No, I don't use any type of heating system whatsoever. I'm going to keep this short, and in fact I have a video coming out this winter on it. I'm going to keep it very short. If you have a coop that is well put together for the number of birds that you're keeping, well ventilated, plenty of light coming in, and keeping all weather, all winds and whatnot off your birds and stuff, and like I say, well ventilated and everything, you should have no problem keeping your birds warm. The only thing you do need to do in the wintertime, and you got to remember this, you can't keep that same regimen of food going that you get away with this summer. If you're letting them out to range, they're not getting that range of protein in there. So they're going to eat about 1.5 times more food than in the summertime as far as grains go and what you're going to feed them directly. So if you're giving them 3/4 to a cup per hen, which is about what I do, I get up to about 1.5 cups per hen, along with in the evenings, just about 45 minutes to an hour before roosting, I give them some cracked corn, or actually I like giving them whole corn. It stays with them a little bit longer, keeps them heated up, and you get a lot more minerals and oils and proteins and stuff within that whole grain. The one thing I do, if I do the mixed corn with the cracked corn and whatnot, I do put the old boss to them, the black oil sunflower seeds and other grains and stuff, like a chicken scratch. I don't just use chicken scratch because the majority of that is corn, and it's not the best, so I kind of mix a little bit here and there, but I make sure that they get a good amount of that in the evenings just before roost. And your chickens, believe it or not, will tell you if they're happy or not. If you've got cold chickens and like that, you're going to see them huddled up all over here and blah blah blah, and you're just not going to see happy chickens. And people that raise animals and like that, they know if an animal is happy or not. You can tell just by looking at them. So I'm not going to get in a long debate on over if you should put heat in and whatnot. I will say one other thing on chickens and a lot of other animals too. If it's a breed of animal or a breed of chicken that is designed to well, be in more tropical climates and whatnot, well, you might not just want to keep that chicken or that animal, because if you're not going to supplement heat for them on those particular breeds there, then those might be in trouble. But most of the standard breeds that I use, they all used to the Maine winters and whatnot, and as long as you abide by all the rules of the different coops and stuff like that, and like I say, I'll put a video out on that, and I don't want to really get long-winded. You know how long I can get on these subjects of chicken and whatnot. But anyways, the short answer, no. I hope that answers your question, Calvin. Gilbert Farm asked why I chose chickens and why so many. Was it security or hobby or business or all? I can't say so much about business, because if anybody knows that they raise chickens for eggs and stuff, unless you're in a big, large production, by the time that you pay for your grain and all your little tidbits here and there, and you know, all the little things that come along with raising chickens and stuff, you're not making any money, even if you sell them at $3 a dozen. Very little anyways. So no, it's not really business related. Probably 80% of my eggs are sold, and I like to at least keep it even. If I can sell the eggs and give them away to family and friends too, and come out even, and have my feed and everything paid for and whatnot, well, I'm happy. Here's a good question. Life in the Farmland, Eric, he wants to know, if I came across a sum of money but had to invest it back into our place, where and what would I spend it on? Well, if you're talking about investing into the place or investing in general, probably the majority of it would go, as far as investment goes, would probably go right to the granddaughters. There ain't much bigger investment you can put than with children, I believe. You know, they're the, hey, you've heard this many times from a lot of different people, but it is true. The future is going to be turned over to them, and they're our best investment. So yeah, I put it toward the grandkids and a little bit of maintenance around the property. Thanks, Eric. Great question. All right, I think we got time for one more question here. I was struggling with this gentleman's last name so bad, I ended up having to PM him just to get the correct pronunciation. The channel's name is Mark Thieme, spelled T-H-I-E-M-E. And I was calling it time, I was calling it theme, I was calling it everything but the right thing. And he informed me that it is pronounced tea-me, like in a cup of tea and, well, me, tea-me. So this question answer is going out to Mark Thieme and his wife. They have an awesome channel. They do everything from gardening to woodworking, and I think you'll enjoy it. So check out the URL down in the description box and give it a look-see. He wanted to know who runs my camera. Well, that's a simple question. I run the camera. I can't get anybody else to do it. Well, my granddaughters will help me out every now and then, and doing different segments and whatnot, but 99.9% of the time, yeah, I'm the idiot in front of the camera and behind the camera. So anyways, thanks a lot, Mark, for that question there. Well, that's going to be it for this week's edition of Coffee with the Yardbirds Q&A. Keep those questions coming, and we'll compile them and get the answers to you. I also want to thank everybody for helping me get over 300 subscribers this past week here. A great big hand goes out to all you guys, and well, I appreciate it very, very much. Wherever you guys are in your neck of the woods, be it morning, noon, or night, I hope you're having a good one. Take care now.